I want to give a special shout out to all my patrons, my Bibliospran, Bibliohowlers, and Bibliomancers. Thank you so much for supporting my hobby and passion even more. It means so much to me. Hi everyone, Petrik here. Today's video will be my February book haul video, and this month, just like the past 2 or 3 months, I got many books. And yeah, this month, unlike usual though, I acquired more than 20 books this month because I personally bought them. I personally bought many books this month, and because of that, I think I might have to go on a book buying ban for a few months. At least that's the plan. I really want to do a book buying ban, and you will find out soon why. But before I show you all the books that I got this month, today's video is sponsored by Atlas VPN. Grab the big deal because now Atlas VPN Premium is just $1.833 per month plus 3 months extra, and with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Protect your privacy and get many benefits of Atlas VPN for a ridiculously low price. You can take this deal by clicking the link in the video description below. Be quick though, as it is a limited time offer. It honestly brings me joy to be collaborating with Atlas VPN again. For those of you who don't know, VPN stands for Virtual Private Network, and it allows users to access exclusive content available in other countries. This brings me happiness because I, as an international reader, am limited by many things. I cannot even access Reddit or R-Fantasy without using VPN. Other than access to more exclusive content, there are also more extra benefits from using Atlas VPN, such as fast internet speed, protection for unlimited devices with a single subscription, and it also blocks ads and malware. Atlas VPN also notifies you when someone is trying to access your data. My favorite benefit, however, is that I can now find cheaper books online. Yes, a different location means we have different prices when we're online shopping. Once again, you can get this big Atlas VPN Premium deal for $1.83 per month plus 3 months extra with a 30-day money-back guarantee by clicking the link in my description. Thank you so much to Atlas VPN for sponsoring today's video. Now I will show you all the books that I got this month. As always, I will start from the books that I bought first, and the first one that I will show you today, this is the reason why I think I need to go on a book buying ban. And this is for The Dragonbone Chair by Ted Williams. I have done a dedicated video to my unboxing and also reaction and kind of a small flip through of The Dragonbone Chair by Ted Williams, the Grim Oak Press edition. In that video, I have mentioned that this is the first time I bought a special edition this expensive without reading the book first. But I just could not resist this one. This has a cover art. Look at this. This cover art is done by Donato Giancola, and the interior illustrations, the one that I've seen anyway, all of them are so gorgeous. All of them are done by Donato Giancola as well. He's one of my favorite artists. I think he's as good or even better than Michael Whelan, in my opinion anyway. So yeah, I'm really happy with my purchase. This is easily one of the most beautiful special edition that I have. One of the most beautiful book that I own, really. And I look forward to reading The Dragonbone Chair quite soon, probably in April or May. I have mentioned that the entire Austen Art Saga is one of my top priority series to start and finish this year, and I will start my journey by reading from this beautiful, gorgeous edition. And yeah, because this is super expensive, this is the main reason why I think I need to do a book buying ban. And that's not the only expensive book that I bought this month. I also bought Berserk Deluxe Edition, Volume 11. This means that I now own 11 volumes of the Deluxe Edition of Berserk, one of the best manga series of all time by Kentaro Miura. And I think I only have 2 more volumes before I manage to complete my Berserk collection, my Berserk Deluxe hardcover collection. And yeah, this one is not cheap. This is expensive. Collecting the entire manga series in this edition is an expensive adventure, okay? But you know what? Berserk, as I said, is one of my favorite manga series, and I have done so many rereads of this manga, and I will do another plenty of rereads again in the future. And next time, I will do it with this deluxe hardcover edition. So even though it is expensive and it is quite painful to pay for them, but I will not regret this. I know that I will, future Petrik, when he decides to reread this manga series again with this edition, will be grateful for this purchase. So for the next 5 books that I bought this month, all of them I bought when I went on a trip to Malaysia last week. I don't know whether some of you know that I went to Malaysia last week or not, but on that trip, I went to this super gorgeous bookstore. It is called a Book Access, and in that bookstore, almost every book, almost every hardcover or paperback costs only about $5 or $6 US. And of course, while I'm there, I have to buy plenty of books. I will not go home with empty hands. So while I'm there, I bought 3 books, and these 3 books are part of one series. The title of the series is Chronicles of the Long War by A.J. Smith. I think this is the second book. The second book is titled The Dark Blood. And then after that, we have The Red Prince. This is the 3rd book of the series. And finally, the 4th and final book of the series, The World Raven. I don't have the first book yet. It's not available on that bookstore. But I have bought myself a copy of the first book, and it is on the way to me right now. I remember a few people on my YouTube comment section. I think one of them is you, Jonathan. Plenty of you have mentioned that this is an incredibly underrated epic fantasy series. And because I saw these 3, all of them at a very cheap price, I might as well get them. On the spine, it is written as George R. Martin meets Lovecraft, and wow, I think that sounds very interesting. Hopefully, when I get around to reading this series, I will end up living it. I personally think that the cover art is beautiful. Hopefully, the book will be as good or even better than the cover art of this series. So when I was in Malaysia last week, I did not visit only one bookstore. Of course, if there is more bookstore, I will visit more. And so I visit another one, and the name of the bookstore is Popular Bookstore. I think this one is indeed a popular in Malaysia. And I bought 2 books while I'm there. The first one that I got is The Devil and the Dark Water by Stuart Turton. This is not a fantasy book. This is, I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is a historical fiction novel, a one-off historical fiction novel. I've read the previous book by Stuart Turton. The title is The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, and I quite enjoyed that one. I've heard from plenty of friends and also my co-bloggers that this one, The Devil and the Dark Water, is even better than The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. Just like Chronicles of the Long War by A.J. Smith, even though I bought this on a different bookstore, but this one is priced at $5 as well. And yeah, and this is floppy. This is a floppy paperback. So yeah, it is a huge plus for me. I hope I will end up living this one when I'm in the mood of a one-off standalone novel. As for the last book that I bought with my own money, it is The Last House on Needless Street by Catriona Ward. I think this one is a horror novel. I've heard many great things about it, even though I am a mainly fantasy and sci-fi reader, but I keep on hearing about this book. Even Stephen King praised this one so much. See, this is what he said. I haven't read anything this exciting since Gone Girl. So yeah, I don't know anything about this one. I don't read many horror books, but when I enter this one, I hope I will end up living it as much as all the other readers did. So that's all the books that I bought. Now let's talk about the books gifted to me, or to be more precise, the books that I stole. Well, plenty of them are books that I stole from my wife's bookshelf. But first, let's start from the book that I received from one of my patrons, and this is for The Girl and the Mountain by Mark Lawrence. This is the second book in the Book of the Ice trilogy. With the acquisition of this one, this means that I finally own the entire Book of the Ice trilogy in its hardcover format, in its UK hardcover format. And I really have to thank one of my patrons, Barbara. Thank you so much for getting me this copy. I mentioned on my Discord that it was so difficult for me to get this edition now, this UK hardcover edition, because it's sold out everywhere. And hearing that, Barbara decided to get me a copy of it, and now I own the entire Book of the Ice in its UK hardcover with all cover art done by Jason Chan, amazing artist. And of course, I have to own the hardcover, the matching hardcover. I've only read the first book. I think I will have to reread that before I dive into The Girl and the Mountain, and eventually the 3rd and final book of the trilogy, The Girl and the Moon. But yeah, thank you so much to Barbara for getting me a copy of The Girl and the Mountain. So for the next 5 books, I will just go through them briefly, but all of them are non-fantasy books that I stole from my wife's bookshelf. But I borrowed or stole them because I think they sound interesting enough for me. The first one is this super highly praised thriller novel, The Kind Word Killing by Peter Swanson. I don't know anything about this one. I only know that this is very well received by many thriller and mystery readers. Hopefully, I will end up loving this. And then I also got Slate House by David Mitchell, the author of Clad Atlas and also The Bone Clocks. And look at this hardcover. Ta-da! It's pretty. I think many readers have mentioned that David Mitchell's books are all bizarre, but they're great. So yeah, that's all I know. The only story by David Mitchell that I have experienced is only Cloud Atlas, and well, maybe when I'm in the mood for a bizarre story, I will try reading more of David Mitchell's books. And that's why I got this one. And another bizarre book that I got, and my wife told me that this one is very bizarre and dark, and this is The Vegetarian by Han Kang. Again, no idea what this is about. I have absolutely no idea what this is about, but this is a first edition hardcover, so I might as well get it. By the way, I think this is a deckled edges. I don't know whether you're a fan of this or not, but personally, I am not a fan of deckled edges. I think it looks like the book is broken or something. And the last two books that I borrowed, both of them are a classic. This one is 20 years old now. This is The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini. I haven't read this one. I know that this one is very highly praised. And the other one is The Giver by Lois Lowry. Again, this is a classic, and this one is 30 years old now. This book is 30 years old. I pretty much heard nothing but wonderful things about The Giver, but again, I don't know anything about this one. I know that this is a part of a series though, but I think readers mentioned that only the first book is worth a try. At least that's what I heard anyway. I heard that the second book and beyond doesn't match the quality of the first book, The Giver. Now moving on to the next section, let's talk about the self-published fantasy books that I got this month from self-published fantasy authors. And this month I got only 3 books, and the first 2 books that I got is The Gifts of Pandora, and also the second book, The Valor of Perseus by Matt Larkin. This is, as the title says, is a Greek mythology-inspired epic fantasy. This is the first and the second book in Tapestry of Fate, and this is part of the universe Eschaton cycle, the Titan era. So Matt Larkin is an author of many books, and before this Greek mythology-inspired fantasy came out, he has finished writing a Norse mythology-inspired epic fantasy. I'm a huge fan of both Norse mythology and Greek mythology. I think I will certainly end up reading this one, Tapestry of Fate, and also the Norse-inspired epic fantasy series by Matt Larkin. Plus, both series actually features a map by my favorite cartographer of all time, Francesca Berald. And yes, of course, the map looks absolutely incredible. If possible, I think many traditional publishers and self-published fantasy authors really should hire Francesca, because every map she crafted just looks stunning to me. And of course, I have to give a shout out to the cover artist behind this beautiful cover art, Felix Ortiz, my friend Felix Ortiz. And speaking of Felix Ortiz, the next self-published fantasy book I got is another one with a cover art by him. This one is No Heart for the Thief by James Lloyd Dolan. I want to say thank you so much to James for sending me a copy of your debut novel. Thank you so much, James. And yeah, this one, I heard nothing but great things about it. The tagline is, "We are the stories we tell ourselves, even the lies." I think this book will feature colonialism as one of its main themes. And although I always say I cannot predict when I will end up reading a review copy or an advanced reading copy, because I have so many of them now, but I have a feeling that I will end up reading this one sooner than I thought, because yeah, somehow this book has been calling to me, and I heard the author is quite ambitious enough to actually want to finish writing this trilogy within, I think, the next 2 years. So yeah, not too long. Hopefully I will end up loving this one when I get around to it. So that's all the 3 self-published fantasy books I got. Now let's move on to the final section of today's book haul, and it is time to talk about the traditionally published fantasy book that I got from publishers. And this month I got 5 books. The first one is Daughter of Red Winter by Ed MacDonald. I've read only one book by Ed MacDonald, and I think it was his debut novel, Black Wings, and I really enjoyed that one. But for whatever reasons, I haven't continued reading past Blackwing. But this one, Daughter of Red Winter, I think this is a coming-of-age fantasy novel, a coming-of-age fantasy series. And yeah, I look forward to reading this one, especially after I saw the cover art of the second book, which looks absolutely beautiful. Even better than this already great cover art. Yeah, the cover art is done by Galen Dara, and I look forward to reading this trilogy. If Daughter of Red Winter is actually as good as Blackwing, then I know I will have a great time reading this one. Thank you so much to Golangs for sending me a copy of Daughter of Red Winter. As for the last traditionally published fantasy books I got this month, all of them are sent to me by Orbit UK, and I want to say thank you so much to Orbit for sending me a copy of these 4 books. And these are, the first one is the Night Angel trilogy by Brand Wicks, the new cover art, with the cover art done by will still. The first book is The Way of Shadows, and the second book is Shadow's Age, and after that we have Beyond the Shadows. So I've read the Lightbringer series. I have enjoyed reading the Lightbringer series, especially the second book in that series, The Blinding Knife. I think it's the best book of the Lightbringer series. But I still haven't read the Night Angel trilogy, which is Brandwick's first trilogy before the release of Lightbringer. I know many fantasy authors or series created because they've read the Night Angel trilogy. So yeah, I think this is quite an influential fantasy series filled with assassins and deadly intrigues. I look forward to reading this trilogy. And after I'm done with this trilogy, well, this is the last book on today's book haul video, and this is Night Angel Nemesis, the newest book by Brandwick. So this one is the first book in the Kyler Chronicles, and look how thick this is. This is huge. It's almost 900 pages long, and this is almost as big as the entire trilogy of Night Angel. So Night Angel Nemesis takes place after what happens at the end of Night Angel trilogy. So of course I cannot read this one yet until I have finished reading the Night Angel trilogy. I don't know when I will get around to reading the Night Angel, but I think it might be sooner than I expect, because yeah, this is another one of those trilogy that has been calling out to me. Once I finish reading the Night Angel trilogy, then I will read Night Angel Nemesis. I want to say thank you so much once again to Orbit Books UK for sending me a copy of Night Angel trilogy and Night Angel Nemesis. With these 4 books now in my possession, I now own every book written by Brandwick, except Perfect Shadow, which is on the way to me right now. So yeah, that's it for today's video. That's the end of my February book haul. Let me know what you think about my February book haul, and if you have read any of the books that I mentioned in my acquisition here. And of course, let me know how many books you got in the month of February as well. As always, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for your support. Bye bye. Lastly, I want to say thank you so much once again to all my patrons who keep on supporting me.